there again. How's it going? Good to be talking to you today. Feels really wonderful. Feels super expansive. I feel way better now than I did before. Perhaps this is something that I need to be doing. I need to be making videos. Maybe that's the draining in my energy. It's just like feeling like I need to put out a lot of different content and just not having, in the past few days, the ability to do that for whatever reason, emotionally or however it is. So here we go. Yeah, my storage ran out before, but now it won't. I have another 119 gigs ready to go here. Good to see you all. Hello. Stretch it out, stretching out. Feeling good. Channeling the moment. Allowing it to come through. Okay. So, recently we were talking about psychedelics, medicine ceremony, bringing those things through, and just the different points of the path when it comes to energy work and all these different things. So we brought into certain realms of frequencies to understand the magnetics and the different feelings of magnetics. I told you could feel wet or metallic. When I was on a very high frequency, when I was experiencing the telekinesis, I felt as if I could charge objects. When I touched metal, I felt as if I was surging electricity through them. And this left a D-battery type feeling, taste on my tongue, and feeling like you had touched a D-battery in your tongue. The taste of it, very metallic. It's very supercharged. A lot of energy flowing through. Maybe that's the buildup of electrons. Who knows for sure? These are ways that these things can feel. So, as I was moving through the medicine path and moving into these different places within myself, I had the experiences that I'd spoken of earlier, where I set into the trance state, and I was able to use every mudra to move this woman's energy and send her, and apparently a part of myself with her, to a heavenly realm. And this was amazing, because for some reason I was moving the energy, scooping it up, and I was falling into this trance. I was being the observer and seeing that I knew how to touch every one of these energies perfectly. This was after watching the movie and understanding that I must know Tai Chi somehow, that there's a part of me, within me, inside of me, that knows Tai Chi, that I've known it in a past life, and I understand it fully and amazingly accurately in a professional and an expert type of way. And so having glimpses like this showed me that there was a way to access through psychedelics these places within myself. And so, as I was saying in the recent videos, that there's a way for all of us to access the knowledge and the wisdom of who we were in past lives and who we are then in this life. And as I was looking for who I was in past lives, I realized who I was fully, entirely, when it comes to the whole of everything, that I was the heart of the universe and that everything is my own heart. Now, that means that you are my heart as well, and that you could even be perceiving it that I am your heart, because we're all one heart. Am I the greatest of the hearts? We're all equal hearts. We exist equanimous and equanimity always and always. But in that equanimity, we're limitless beings. So does that mean that we are expressing our limitlessness equally? Absolutely, we are equal in all ways, but our realization may be at different levels. This is why we have teachers and why we have students and why every teacher is still a student teacher if they actually wish to be a great teacher. They must always be learning from every moment in every way, learning how to teach better, learning how to hold space better, learning how to transfer energy better, learning how to surrender more, learning how to trust more, learning more how to explain in greater detail, articulate in a finer fashion, to a great amount of precision, focus, what it means to live in a world that is perfection. All the times I see us looking at the world and wanting to change the world. I see us wishing to do something in the world, wanting to make something happen. I remember previously I'd yelled at you for this, but excuse me for, yelling at you. This was a way to yell at myself, but it's also a way to yell at the many people that act as if they know something when they don't know something. They've conceived about it. If they knew about it, they would see how illogical it is for them to be working in the way that they are. And so when I say whatever I said then in the manner that I did, anybody who has had true experience can see that what I was saying was true no matter the way in which I was yelling at them. They could even if they understand things to be not separate in such a way that everything literally is themselves, because that is what is the case. Everything is yourself, literally, not removed twice or however it is. That is truly yourself, literally in this moment. It is your body, it is your mind, it is your heart, it is your entire essence. Everything entirely is that. It is not separate in any fashion, no matter what it may appear. And so, those that realize that could realize that it is them yelling at themselves, and they could see that I was yelling at them in a way of passion, in a way of compassion, in a way of truth, in a way of innocence, in a way that was a desperate heart calling out to the rest of the hearts to say, please, hear me now. This is important, that we no longer feed these fear-based mentalities, that we no longer feed into what is called duality, that we no longer continue to empower the illusion based on our perception that is attached to some ego identity that is actually reacting out of selfishness, out of a way to sustain itself, out of a way to keep itself stuck within the bondage of its own mind, of its own illusory reality that is decided to be karmically bound to. And we can do this, we can do this. But we have to release our grip. We have to release our cling. We have to stop touching everything in the way that we're touching it, in the same manner that we're touching it, for the same reasons or purpose or intentions that we're touching it. Being that I understand how intention is so important on how it is we do everything. A person could do something that seems to be to one person truth and good and wonderful and righteous, but the intention that they had while they did it was what screwed them out of being able to be free from their illusory reality. Because even though they helped this person, they were doing it for a completely egoic manner. And so what they actually did was the opposite of what they were trying to do. And it's really an interesting thing then, And now it may still have helped this person, and it does help all beings, and everything they've done is perfect, so there's no reason to judge ourselves. But still, we're not becoming free this way. We're doing these selfish things, Like, many people talk about Bill Gates or something. They're like, oh, well, Bill Gates is doing this for this reason or this for this reason. And so even though he's helping these people, it's really an investment for the future. And that's what I'm talking about. These kinds of things. And I don't know about what's going on with Mr. Gates. I don't pay attention to these things. I'm not going outside of my reality based on some fear mentality to see what kind of conspiracy it is that I can believe in that will limit me and cause me to empower a fear-based understanding. I see everything as perfection. So no matter what Mr. Gates is doing, no matter what you are doing, I could say, you too are doing the same thing in a different way because you don't have the capital to be doing it in the manner in which he is doing it, but you're doing it in a smaller manner. You're giving somebody healing, but you're really doing that for yourself as an investment for yourself, Why are you doing this? Are you doing this genuinely? Like, what do you get in return for this? Now, if what you're doing is to relieve all suffering for all beings everywhere without one exception, and this is what gives you great happiness. Now, this is very happy for me. I very like this. I like this a lot, very much. So, that's beautiful. That's really wonderful. Now you're doing it for the whole. You're doing it for all of yourself. Oh my goodness. You're not doing it just selfishly for your specific ego identity. You're not trying to hide within a hole and sustain your reality in comfort, passing day by day by day in a relatively happy way until one day you die and you're gone and it's over and you no longer are part of this experience, and there you go, you made it through it. No, I'm looking for people that are warriors, heroes. I'm like, come on now, what can we do? How can we give ourselves to the cause? A lot of people want to fight. No, that's not the way. You could do that, yes. But there's another way to fight. There's another way to be powerful. Gandhi did a lot this way, and but I would still be looking to even transcend Gandhi and his amazing understanding of peace, learning from him, and then creating a 2.0. Like, okay, Gandhi 2.0. This is him of the future. That's the cool thing about our teachers of the past, is that we are able to do the things that they've done in a greater manner, in a phenomenal fashion, in a more beneficial way. And now it is time to unite the world, to bring us all into an understanding of unity and harmony, and to bring us all into a place of truth. Unconditional love for all beings everywhere without one exception is a gateway into doing this. Unconditional love for all of ourselves And through medicine ceremony and the setting of intention, being phenomenally present, we can move through the things within ourselves and understand these amazing places within consciousness that we are all reaching, that we all are at already, and really just realize the truth of ourselves. And so I continue to advocate for medicine ceremony in this way, because you are very ancient and old beings. And so if you are able to fall into a place that is not selfish, into a place that's really wishing to understand the truth of yourself, then you can really transcend quite a few generations in time. You can really accelerate years and years of time. You could have 3 years of retreat, 3 years of meditation, or you could have a single evening with the right intention and transcend hundreds of years of time, thousands of years of consciousness. You could do this immediately. These are amazing teachers that have been brought to us as gateways to help us more fluidly come into amazing and great places within ourselves. A lot of people use these things in a selfish manner. A lot of people use these things for means of self-pleasure. A lot of these people use these things to continue their ego. And when they find something within these experiences that doesn't simply exalt its ego and puts it into a place where the ego is very afraid, sometimes they reject it, they resist it so much that they fry one of their circuits, and it becomes a very difficult experience that happens to be a great blessing and perfection for all of us around that happen to see it. And they get to then do a different type of work. And I'm trying to help us come into a more balanced space with our energy work, with our energy workings. Now, for some people, it may be, that you don't feel drawn, and I'm not trying to get you to cause yourself to feel drawn. I don't want to mislead you in any way. These are very rapidly accelerating paths. These are very dangerous paths. This is where I would like us to ground into the heart, ground into true centering, ground into the knowing that we must be fully dedicated, fully devoted to the benefit of everything. If we really wish to follow this path, I grounded forever in being for the benefit of all beings everywhere without one exception, to realize it to be the universal intention, that everything is constantly this without even trying to be. But we can align with this intention within ourselves, and by aligning within this intention with ourselves, we align with the universal intention that is always that intention. And when we do that, it's through the law of attraction. We become what it is that we're wishing to have, and then we can find ourselves fully. What we're wishing to find, And so when we come into alignment with the universal frequency, with the consciousness's true intention and true frequency, we then become all of consciousness in a being, and we start to gain the teachings of this, and we start to begin the process of this development. And this could be many years, this process, or it could be a few nights. It depends on how sturdy and stable you are within your own mind. This is another thing that brings me back to something before. There's all kinds of keys that I was getting, and there was all kinds of thoughts that would come up while I was giving keys. Whoa, fears or whatever. What if they go faster than me? And then a jealousy and envy would occur, and then it would create me to wish to pull back in some kind of a way from sharing an information. Whoa, what if they become enlightened before me? But this was something that would happen after I was trying to exalt myself in a spiritual way, when I was trying to be seen or validated in a certain manner. Then I was like, no, I am the great one, and I don't want them to become the great one before me. But I would always notice this, and so I'd be like, well, how ridiculous is that? Remembering my original intention was so innocent and so pure, to where I was like, no, please, you go faster than me, make it there before me, and then take me with you. And even this was kind of silly. We all must do this, you know what I mean? And so a lot of the times I started to project it outwards after that. Like, okay, you go first, and then bring me with you. And that was also kind of symbolic in a way of me not wanting to go all the way. All kinds of really amazing things. So yes, I must go all the way. You must go all the way. I'll provide you all the keys that I have for you to go all the way. If you do get there first, please help me with what you know. And whatever you've gone and learned from, that's awesome, that's wonderful. Please share whatever you wish. And I'll let you know if I'm able to be present for it, or if I see it to be egoic and I don't trust it, whatever that is. And then we can work through it in that way. If you want to be a warrior, we can work through very quickly, very harshly, very suddenly, and maybe even very gently and very beautifully. It just depends on our level of receptivity, how it is we're able to open to one another. I'm glad that we came to this place within ourselves, that we're coming a lot faster in our frequency, that we're coming into a place of channeling and teaching and sharing. It feels extremely expansive. There's a lot of information to get out at this time. So, as we were talking before, going back to the energy expression, so I was feeling all kinds of different things. And so when I finally came into this place of teaching where I saw the nakedness of consciousness, like like a computer reality in a certain sense. I had broken it. I had seen grained matter. I had seen everything numbered and coded, and lines of aisles of energy everywhere. It was a very scary, insane thing for me to see. I was like, what is this going on? You know, it's frightening. And I had broken the universe. My head had ripped in half. Part of my head was here. My point of perception was down here with my body. And I was like, oh my God, you know, what is going on? How do I fix this? I could see everything that way and everything that way for miles and miles. All of reality had opened up like a box. I had split the top of it. A layer of color didn't connect where it was supposed to because I had matched the frequency of that layer of color, and I canceled the wave. And that was crazy. I was like, I couldn't believe that this had occurred. I thought I had screwed everything over completely, entirely, forever and always. That's not true. So finally, through a great amount of fear, I reached up above me to the image above me, and I grabbed it like it was solid mountain, and I pulled it back down on my face, and it overlapped my face in a way that I thought my head would be smaller afterwards, but that's not what occurred. What happened was, it brought it back down in a way that allowed the reality to reset itself, to replace itself, and for everything to begin movement again as it was meant to. But this was a very important teaching for me to see. This is a way that I could see the nakedness of reality in such a manner that it broke me from all of my belief structures on what reality really was. Now, is this the same way that it would happen for everybody? I cannot say. I mean, that would be quite incredible, that's for sure. I mean, to realize reality at that level of perception was pretty insane and amazing. And for it also to not rock my perception at that time. For 3 days I was very scared that I would be deleted. This was the word that was coming to me. I was very afraid that all kinds of things would occur. You know, I was not sure. I even, you know, prayed saying, hey, I'll never tell anybody about this, you know, just let me be, and maybe let me have some money so that I can, you know, live out this life in peace and, you know, kind of suppress all this emotion I'm having here. But that's not what happened, you know. Instead it gave me a bunch of teaching and showed me how everything was for me and not against me, and showed me this great, amazing grace that was the blessing of everything, and showed me a great many levels of reality otherwise. I wasn't quite on that particular point in the spectrum that allowed me to see things in a much different way. So I believe last time I was talking about how everything was kind of like an ocean, or that it literally is like an ocean, that energy moves in these kinds of toroidal field fashions, in these tubulars, in these whirlpool manners. Now everything, if you is floating like a leaf on top of the river, this is the flow of life, something that we can see. And so understanding these giant waves of energy, and these were the beginnings, this experience I'm talking about, to me understanding what things were wave of energy was, geometrically, how many realities were occurring on one reality, and how there's many realities of ourselves occurring before us and, you know, and after us. That there's a part of me that may be going before me, that's getting hit by a car and being, you know, going through all these different experiences to show me, you know, precisely where it is that I need to be, radiating out in every direction from me. You know, I noticed this because I had seen a truck turn, and then I had seen it also like whip around the corner and do all the other possible motions that were possible for that truck at that time. But the truck was its center place, and so it actually didn't go with the rest of it. But it could have, you know, these were possibilities, but I was on a completely different reality than all of these other possibilities that were constantly occurring. So it seems as if every infinite reality is occurring, but we're here placed within the center of all this infinite realities, which is why we're able to be alive, able to speak, able to be the perfection of our frequency. Happen to be existing within that realm of perfection. How do we fall out of that? Well, we don't fall out of that. I mean, no matter where it is, even if we're on one of those other frequencies, that would be the perfection of those frequencies. You know, if I were to be wiped out at some point, that would be the perfection of that frequency, and so on and so forth. I happen to be on the timeline right now where I'm here, able to talk to you, and I'm not being smashed by something right now. It's pretty cool. And so, that's pretty awesome. Anyways, yeah, I do like where we're at, and I trust that wherever we're at, we happen to be liking where we're at, no matter what that is. You know, resting eternally within the presence of the now moment. The only place that you could ever be. How do we bring everybody here now? Well, you know, we have a lot of questions going on, so it's going to be tough to, you know, rest into being while we have so many questions. But also, well, you know, while we have a question, we begin searching for it. You know, we can be present with that question. We can be present with that now moment. It's okay to be moved, to be prompted, and be present with every motion in life. A lot of people believe that you got to be sitting somewhere in a state of meditation to be present, or that you have to be, you know, very precise on a certain focus within your physical reality. But you can be present with the TV. You can be present with your thoughts. You can be present with the phone. You can be present on your Facebook. You know, you can be present. A lot of people don't even realize that they are present when they're on Facebook. It's like, are you in your thoughts right now while you're reading somebody's message? maybe you are. Maybe you're having yourself divided in two. Maybe you have this thought about something going on in your life to where you can barely even read somebody's message. You get through one sentence and then your thought comes up about this thing you're caring about, and then you read another message and your thought comes up about this thing you're caring about. Now that is a clear indication of what it is that you would rather be present with. And it doesn't have to be the thing, your Facebook that you're using to suppress this other thing that constantly comes up, but maybe that thing that's constantly coming up is something for you to look at. It's like, okay, I'm really worried about this particular thing right now, and so I can't really get my mind off of it, and I keep on trying to distract myself from it because I don't really know what to do with it, and it's causing me, turmoil, pain in my reality. So I constantly, I get on the phone, I watch a movie, I have sex, I do this, I do drugs, I do whatever I do, and it's just not working out for me. I take a drink, I don't know, I talk to friends, whatever it is. But you could really just kind of work out that scenario, be present with that scenario that's popping up with you. Like, okay, this is troubling me, let me be present with this, let me figure this out, what's going on. Like for me yesterday, it was feeling lonely. I was feeling like I wanted a partner. I'd recently experienced a very beautiful physical experience with a very beautiful, amazing woman, a manifesting generator such as myself, and it was powerful, it was gorgeous. We were finishing each other's sentences, we were doing all kinds of cool things. It was very quickly gone, and then a reflection came up that, we both couldn't move through together, and then that was it. I had to remain authentic to the channel pouring through me. It's the only thing I'm able to do. And she apparently, was doing her thing in that way. She shut down. She couldn't receive any more of it, and so it's over. It's done. And that's okay. But this is something I had to work through yesterday. And there's plenty of other things I would like to do, but, it was very difficult, so I just kept on, breathing into it, feeling it, seeing it, and moving throughout my day. I went and I exercised and did all these things. I went to the beach and I laid down, I listened to music, and then I was finally, and I was expressing it here and I was expressing it there, and finally I got to express it with a friend, and that was the place in which I needed to express it. And even this morning I still felt, this pain in my heart, this love. And after I was done expressing my friend and he cried with me and he held me and we held each other and it was really beautiful, she actually showed up in the reality. It was so interesting, and that brought it back to me. I was like, oh, I have this relationship trauma. I have this trauma of, not ever having anybody in my entire life. Not having anybody that really is for me, ever. Not having anybody that's actually for me, as me, who I am, without needing me to change, ever. Not once. No unconditional love. Nobody that's my ride or die, No friend or family, nobody. Everybody's doing their own thing. Nobody has the time or the care or the effort to do that. And so, that's okay. It's alright. I am that way. I can see that I'm that way, that when I love and care for somebody, I would change my entire life path for them. The entirety of it. I would go here, there, anywhere. I would do anything for them. And I have done this constantly throughout my lifetime. And if you ever talk to my family, you can say, yes, he has done that. He's forsaken all of us for this woman he loved. He has constantly always been with a woman, and it's always caused him turmoil. And that actually is no longer the case for me. But it's obviously something that has still lived within inside of me. Something that it's very difficult for me to work out and deal with. I mean, I've decided that it's not for me, but then I still have the desire for it. So I'm like, oh, well, what will I do? How will I move through this? I just breathe into it, I feel it, I don't reject it, I accept it. And recently I just very much opened up to where I was like, you know what, maybe I can have this. Maybe it is okay for me to have this. For so long I've been deciding not to, but I've married myself in so many ways, and I do love all of myself. And so it seems silly. It's like, is it possible that I don't love myself and that I'm being caught in some kind of a way? But I know that I only want certain things. I don't want somebody who's developing at a certain rate of speed. I want somebody who's very well developed to the nature that I am myself developed. Why? Because otherwise it's going to become this student-teacher relationship that becomes very combative and very difficult. If you show me something in myself, then I'm happy to see it. Maybe I'm triggered by it. I don't know. I'm actually very, very happy when I see things within myself that allow me to grow. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that. And I might even feel apologetic. I might feel this. I might feel that. I might cry. I might be like, oh, Ryan, I love you so much. Oh my goodness, I can't believe you're still holding on to this, such as this relationship trauma, that is apparently coming up. I'm like, oh wow, there could be this. This is wonderful. This is great. I get to work with this now. A lot of people see things within themselves and they think, oh no, let me turn away from this. And that's okay. That's what they need to do in that moment. It's not a big deal. It's all right. But I'm at a point to where I really like to see these things. And so if you could point something out for me, I feel very grateful. People that have been able to do this in very harsh ways, apparently, have been, people that I feel very grateful for. I even tell them that I feel grateful for it. Even though I can see that they've said it in a really crazy way. I'm like, okay, well, you probably could have just told me this in a more authentic manner earlier when you noticed this originally, probably months ago or years ago, but I'm glad that I finally upset you and disturbed you enough for you to try to hurt me with this information. That was true, because now I can see it and now I can move through myself in a really amazing fashion. Now I can learn and grow, and now I can continue on in a more balanced way in my expression. This was something I was unable to see, so thank you for pointing out where I was blind. And whenever I point out where somebody else is blind, it's typically not very great, but that's okay, not too bad. That's just the way it has to be. But I do hope someday that, maybe there is somebody that can, be with me in a certain manner. But I can see how it's very difficult, though, because there's a lot of reflections that I have to provide, and so there are ways that a relationship could limit that possibility for me to be free and for me to be wherever it is that I happen to need to be, because I'm consistently motivated by oppression. It's typically oppression by such agitation that gets me to move into the places in which I need to go within perfection, and provide the frequencies to all those people that are downtrodden or having trouble in their lives, that help them pass through gateways and activations within themselves. Now, this isn't the greatest of abundances when it comes to finance or to physicality in a certain way, but it also is the greatest abundance that I've ever received, ever, and could possibly ever receive. It's the greatest treasure that there ever was. I'm able to transfer information to anybody in any kind of a way, shape, or form and help them no matter where they're at within whichever reality I happen to find them in. They could be great spiritual people, whatever it is, and I have teachings for every one of them. I have a way to channel through all of these amazing things through my experience, my direct knowing, something I've been given from all the things that have been showing me through this amazing route that is medicine ceremony. And all of the ceremony that is all of life now, because all of my life is ceremony constantly, and so I learn in every moment. But any time that I do fall into these medicine ceremonies, it's like accelerating myself, thousands of years of consciousness. I transcend great amounts of things, but in between the times of these ceremonies, I'm taking in a great amount of teachings and context and noticing and being very mindful in every moment, being very present with my thoughts, my feelings, being present with my sadness, my madness, my happiness, being present with all of these different things, accepting them, understanding them, not suppressing them, The other day, I was really worried that I might be suppressing something during that crazy medicine ceremony I was talking to you about, because I had decided to watch a movie. I just couldn't wait through it anymore. I was like, goodness, it's really difficult, but that actually turned out to be perfection as well. And so it's just like a big teaching on trusting myself and trusting my intuition and trusting the natural promptings of the emotions of the moment that are being moved through. And so I would say for yourself, to trust yourself. Maybe you feel the need to watch TV. Maybe you feel the need to get on your phone. Maybe you feel the need to suppress your expression. And maybe that is exactly what you need to do until the time that you don't. I would say that it has to be the case. There's no way it could be anything else. So, go ahead and trust yourself in your moment and trust wherever you are is perfection. And you can go ahead and do the same for others if you wish. You can release all judgment of them in their path, knowing that, they are being led to liberation, and that many beings are attaining that liberation or realizing that liberation right now. And that they are also providing the keys for everybody so we can relax. And if you feel as if you want to join the group and learn about yourself, and you feel very invigorated to embody the truth of yourself, the wisdom of yourself, and being that it is so great and so amazing in magnitude, it might be daunting or kind of scary, like, oh, how could I step into that? But don't worry, you are able, you are already that. You're not stepping into anything, you are just realizing where you already stand. It is phenomenal where you stand. You're the most phenomenal being in the world. Every one of us entirely. That's one thing. Individually. That's one thing. Expressions of that one thing. Limitless in every way. Perfect in every way. Loved in every way. Not a single part of you is not grateful for every part of you, even if you don't realize it yourself currently consciously. Because whatever you are realizing currently consciously is perfect for you to be realizing for the benefit of everything. You are an amazing wisdom being surrendered to the benefit of us all. And so am I. So are we all. So of everything. And it's really wonderful. So no need to judge. So anyways, energy, motion, love. So I was realizing how to open up my energy field when I got to the island. Realizing the Tai Chi, the Qigong, the Bagua. And through doing this, it was really phenomenal. And I began to really do it in a very fighting type fashion, to polish the mirror of consciousness, to fight with the demons around me, and to come into alignment and harmony with my different energies. I was using it to clear my chakra channels by falling into the flow and trusting and allowing it to do what it does on each one of the different levels by having the intention and then going for that until I opened up my consciousness to where I could see everything much as water. As I was talking about the sea, the ocean of samsara, sea of illusion, but it's really nirvana, not really illusory at all. A lot of people talk about it being illusion, but when they see that it is an illusion, they may say, oh, it's fake. That's like the more close thing to be thinking of from like an English person, American perspective. You're like, whoa, it's not real at all. But it is real in its own way. It's just not real in the way we're viewing it. That's the thing, our perception is perceiving it in an unclear manner by labeling it with different identities that is not absolutely true of it when we're looking at things as separate per se. When we see it as separate, we're like, whoa, that's not true. So that perception that sees it as separate is not true, it's illusory. It's believing in an illusory reality that's not real, because there is no separation at all, no matter what you may think. And there are ways to bridge the gaps and understand these gateways. So as I was saying, moving through, understanding energy. So I was dancing with myself and polishing the mirror of consciousness and moving it all through. Every fight that I would get into seeming very vigorous and seeming very powerful and seeming very frightening in some way, like, oh, this thing is really trying to come upon me. I finally would end every one of these things with realizing this to be my own energy, and of course there was no fight that needed to be occurring. All I need to do is reuse the 4 power statements that I later found out to be Ho'oponopono, but I had learned these before I came here from a dear sister. Can't remember her name quite right now, Gabrielle or something, I believe. And she had told me the 4 power statements: I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And so I would fall into this energy field for my expression, and I would actually say why I was sorry. I'm sorry for the lack of understanding that has caused you to be separate from me, that has caused you to have to exist as this thing, to show me myself in this kind of a way. Please forgive me, I love you. And I would love them unconditionally, whether or not they would become in unity with me, whether or not we become in harmony, whether or not they would want to destroy me or kill me. I would surrender to them, and I would love them. And this cleared the energy completely there on myself, and it was just so very beautiful. And I would thank them for being so strong and so beautiful and so amazing as to endure this long, to be for my benefit for this long, to exist in this manner that I would not wish to exist in myself, to show me what it was I was doing to myself by my separating thoughts, of banishing emotions and banishing different reflections within me that literally caused them to have to look in this way. Now, not everybody can see this in this manner, and many people say, that you should condemn something within yourself, but we don't understand how it literally is ourself that we would be condemning.